Wilbaum, I'm the Dean, and with us today is Dr. McFarland, who's our Associate Dean for Academic Affairs. We have our advisor, Michael Gersh, and we have Dr. LaBerge here, who's Program Coordinator for Engineering Technology. So the whole purpose of this is to just be available to answer any questions you might have, to make sure that you're okay, that everything is working out for you. Also to make sure that you know the policies that have been coming along pretty rapidly, actually, and make sure that you understand the nuances of those. So thank you, Ahmed and Brandon, for being here. And this will also be posted for all the other students who couldn't make it in today. So let's start with just a question. How are you guys doing? And you're gonna have to turn off mute in order to answer. Or you can text. Thank you, Brandon. All right, so Brandon says he's doing well. Ahmed, how are things going for you?
Everything is good.
Very good. And if you guys would like to be seen, you're welcome to. You can just click off your video, but it's totally up to you. So one thing we have discovered is that there is some confusion over the pass-fail policy that came out. And then also a lot of questions about summer. So I think that it would be great if we have Dr. McFarland explain a little bit about pass-fail, make sure that you guys are up on that. And then also what's happening over the summer. So Dr. McFarland? I think you're on mute.
Unmute, there you go. Just want to clarify some things with pass-fail, just because questions keep coming up with students. You, the student, initiates. Again, faculty member will not know if you request a course for pass-fail. There are certain courses for which a pass-fail request will not be honored. And in order to determine what those courses are, you can go to the registrar's website and they list them there. It's easier to go and look to see what is not honored than what is honored, what requests will be honored, because the majority of the university's courses are accepting student requests for pass-fail. I can tell you in our college, any course that you are taking that has a TECH in front of it, and if by some chance you're taking an AERN course, the request for a pass-fail will be honored. The way the request works is if it is not already available, it will soon be available to you on your Flashline account when you clock in or check in, and you'll put the request through. The big thing that I want to emphasize with all the students is that if your request went through on Monday and you had a B in the class on Monday, well, I don't know why you wouldn't just finish the class and hopefully get an A, but say you did, you know, a B. You put the request in on Monday, the request is not processed until your final grade is posted, which means between Monday and the rest of the semester, all of the work, the exams, the quizzes, the presentations, whatever they might be, remember, your faculty member doesn't know that you've asked for it. So they're instructing you and working with you like usual. And at the end of the semester, after your final grades have been processed, they'll enter it. If you put in a request on Monday and you have a B and you stop attending, it's possible you could have an F by the end of the semester. So when the faculty member hopefully has reached out to you and talked to you between now and then, but when they process your grade, they put in an F and it will automatically see in the system that you requested a pass-fail, and the F stays an F. It doesn't become the B on the day that you requested that change. So I want to really provide clarity for that. You can request it at any time, but you are expected to finish the course. That's why actually it's not processed until your final grade is entered by the faculty member. And two, you have up until 5 days after your final grades post to make that decision. The whole idea is that most of those requests shouldn't happen till after you see your final grade, because you should be completing the course and then making the determination from there. So that's the first point of clarification I wanted to make regarding pass-fail. The second one I wanted to make is that there have been some student concerns that if a course you are in requires a C to progress and you get a D and you apply for that pass-fail, if it's granted, you get a D, it's pass, will you still be able to go on to the follow-on course? Yes, you will. Will you be able to register for it? Yes, you will. Will you, in the summer and the fall, when you are in that next course, get kicked out because you have not met the minimum grade prerequisite? No, you will not. So for this time period, we're basically waiving the requirement of the C. That doesn't mean that we won't know what you earned in the class. When you submit your request for a pass-fail option, the faculty remember, has put your grade into the system. So, maybe Dr. LaBerge has got a group of students, she puts in a D. Student gets a pass on it, moves on to the next course. She's teaching a subsequent course. We can go into the system, and by we, I mean myself and the advisors can see what students' grades were in the prerequisite course. And in this case, we will look, if we know that her previous course had a C, minimum C requirement, we will look to see if there are any students who didn't get a C. And not to kick them out, not to punish them, not to do anything other than say, hey, I understand you took the pass-fail option in the previous course, you got a D. Come to office hours. What extra help can I do? Do you need extra tutoring sessions? What can we do to ensure that you're successful? So we will be looking to ensure that you're successful in that follow-on course for which you might not have gotten that prereq. So I think that covers the pass-fail. And before I go into summer and registration in fall, are there any questions from you two on pass-fail? Both good? All right, I'll assume silence is good. The second thing is summer. The grades will not be in the GPA. It's a good question. By accepting a pass-fail, you are able to progress, but there is no grade to incorporate into a GPA. So I'm glad you brought that up, though. There might be some repercussions from scholarships or institutional honors, or I don't know what effect it would have if you're looking for an internship or a co-op. So I encourage you, if you are thinking of that option and you're not sure because you've got some of those possible opportunities in your future, talk with your advisor so that they can guide you and say, this is the impact it might have on you. And ultimately, it is still your decision. Any other questions about the pass-fail? That was a good one. Okay. Regarding summer schedule has been posted and open for quite some time, as you can probably see, but now the university has made the determination that we will be remote for summer 1 and summer 2. So the courses that you see there will still be offered. They are now going to be 100% remote. I'm working with the program coordinators to see if we're going to add some additional classes. So within the next week, you might see some new courses being offered in summer 1 and summer 2 that will be remote. Regarding summer 3, we don't yet know what is going to happen with summer 3. We are going along with the assumption that we'll be face-to-face, because that's the easiest way to plan, I suppose. And we've been working with faculty in summer 3 who it might be face-to-face, but hey, would you still be willing to offer this course with a remote component as well? So we might have 20 students face-to-face here on the Kent campus and 10 students still back at home taking the course. Those attributes will be listed on the summer schedule as soon as we kind of get that all compiled, and that will be happening next week. Any updates to it, okay? If we do end up going remote for summer 3, well, then you'll see it. And again, some courses might have to come off because they're not effective to be delivered remotely. On that topic, though, we are looking at some alternative courses, and some of yours in your program might be part of it. An example would be Dr. Hassler and his teaching of survey and also hydraulics, pneumatics. There's a lab component that's really, really difficult, almost impossible to do the entire class in remotely. So what we're working on is it possible to offer hydraulics and pneumatics, the lecture portion in the summer, knowing that you will be required to do the lab portion in the fall, in the evening or on a weekend. And we're looking into those possibilities and might add those options to the summer schedule as well. If that's what happens, you will see it very clearly when you register. Lab portion of this class will be completed in the fall for the first 5 Saturdays of the month. or the month of the year, whatever it might be. And I'm highlighting that it'll probably be Saturdays or evenings, because that's when the laboratories will be free. So keep an eye out on the summer. And on that note, there's an opportunity to kind of maybe take classes or get ahead, because you are hopefully all somewhere, safe, home, warm, everything else, sitting back. Maybe you can pick up a course or two to get ahead. Some students have asked if the summer registration fees will be waived. I don't have an answer for that yet, but we are trying to find out, because there have been discussions of doing that for students. I just don't know what the ultimate decision will be. And I think that covers summer. Any questions on that or on those? All right. So I think that was it, Dr. Blobama.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
So I am taking survey of electricity over the summer. So you said wait like a week and they'll have a determination of that.
Yeah, and I can tell you that Dr. Hassler is he's the one who actually gave us the idea. Working with him and Dr. LeBurge, the two of them came up with this, hey, this is kind of a cool thing. Couldn't we still do that? And he's very, very much about trying to do that. So I expect his courses in particular, if we can't find a way to do the lab component, that yeah, you'll do the lecture in the summer. And then when you come back in the fall, it's not like you have to register for another course or things like that. We just got to figure out where it's going to be or what it's going to look like.
Right.
And I'm glad you brought up the fact that you're already in it. So we'll
Yeah, because I'm taking PLCs in the fall, and it's a prereq, so
and
I
that's,
just
and
want to
that's
make
a
sure
good
everything
point.
was on.
So if you're in it in the summer and you can do the lecture, that's kind of what I want to do. At least you have the knowledge base, and we'll
Right.
check with Dr. Boyd to be sure that he's good. So thanks for bringing that up. That's a perfect example of what we're trying to not slow you down, because we
Right.
have to be remote. Yep. Thanks
Cool.
for that.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
I will really quick to add on to something that Dr. McFarland was saying. I would make sure that you understand if that lab does get pushed back. So you can take the lecture portion the summer, but the lab is going to get pushed back. It has to be taken during this coming fall. Okay. So that's going to be a requirement, and that, like Dr. McFarland said, that may mean that you have an evening lab. It may mean that you have a Saturday lab. It's the only way that we can deal with the scheduling inside the building, because we're so jam-packed with other classes that are already on the schedule for the fall.
And Brandon, probably what will happen is that it will look like you've registered for the summer on the lab, and you'll just get an IP, and the lab will actually be meeting in the fall. So you won't get an F because you haven't finished in the summer or things like that. And that's how just like any other class, if you didn't finish it on time, you'd get the F. So you'll have to do it in the fall. And then usually when you're taking courses concurrently, my answer to students is, well, you're taking the risk of not having the knowledge to be successful in the next one. That's not the case in PLC. We'll also be working with Dr. Boyd, so he knows there might be students in there. And that's part of the accommodations that we're trying to do to help you guys progress and not get slowed down in your curriculum. So I'm really glad you were on this today and gave us that example, so we can kind of clean that up a little bit for you and your classmates.
Yeah, no, this is really helpful. Thank you.
I think as part of this discussion is the idea that if you're doing everything you're supposed to do, we are going to make sure that this is not going to be the thing that causes you to not graduate. We want to make sure you're on track to graduate. We want to make sure that you are not going to be slowed in your progression. So if you're having challenges of any kind, you got to talk with one of us, talk to your advisor, talk to the program coordinator, to Dr. McFarland, send an email. If you're having any kind of difficulty, struggle, or question, and you think that your graduation or your progression is going to be at risk, because we will work with you.
I'm looking at his GPS right now, and he's targeted for next spring. So as long as those, what he has now is fine, as long as we have those things in place, which we already talked about, then he should.
Yeah, I'm just talking about students in general. I'm saying in general, any student in our programs should be able to progress, and we're going to make sure that happens.
Yeah, and what I would normally say with students who are relying on summer courses, prior to this example, hey, summer courses don't always run, but survey actually usually always does. I mean, there's certain courses I always advise students on. I'm like, yeah, and the advisors know too. I wouldn't count on that going because it's not a requirement, but now that Dr. Hasler's teaching survey, it's never not gone in the summer, and it's not gonna not go this summer because of the situation that we find ourselves in. That's where we have to be creative, and that's what the dean's talking about. We will be creative to ensure that you aren't slowed down, because it is a course that has always gone.
What else? Do you have any other questions or thoughts or anything at all? All right.
Well, Brandon, you're not going to be able to enjoy the picture behind the dean, but Hamed, I don't know where you are in your schedule. You might, if the dean talks to you about it.
Yep. Do you guys know what that is behind me? Any thoughts? Any ideas? What do you take a
Is that gonna
guess?
be the
What is
new
it?
engineering building?
Yeah, that's going to be our new engineering wing. Actually, it's going to add on to the aeronautics and engineering building, and we'll add at least like half more, about half of the space that we already have. It'll add on to the end with a 2-story atrium so that we can fly UAVs indoors all the time. So that's progressing, and we are looking at some sort of groundbreaking probably in the next year. So it's pretty exciting.
Now I'm jealous.
You can come
Well,
back as an
come
alum
back.
or get a master's degree in your spare time. And
Hey, if
That's
you offer automotive, I'm here.
You just come on back. That's fine. All right. Well, thank you. If you have any questions or thoughts, concerns, suggestions, any good ideas, share with us. All right.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.